Hi everyone, my name is Dinesh Garg. I'm a student at CS90 Cloud Computing class, and I'm here to present my final project report to you guys about AWS SDK for Android. So this is what's going to be the agenda for this presentation. I'm going to start with a little introduction about AWS SDK for Android. And then I'm going to show you guys a small application that I've prepared just to demonstrate the capabilities of AWS SDK for Android. In the end, we'll briefly talk about the benefits and the challenges around AWS, and in the end, I'll show you guys all the resources that I've used for this project. So, what is AWS SDK for Android? It basically it's a bunch of libraries and the API references that comes with the documentation and some sample codes that really helps a mobile developer to easily kickstart their development of the mobile application. So, as I said, it provides a bunch of client-side libraries to access AWS services as well as the dedicated mobile services provided by AWS. So it provides easy access to the mobile services provided by Amazon, like Cognito, mobile analytics, and mobile push. It provides connectors to some of the key services that makes it easy to access those. And it provides APIs to provide, to access the services like SimpleDB or EC2 using the mobile phone. So let's look at a little bit of deep dive into each of these three things for which AWS SDK could be used. So the first and foremost is the mobile services provided by AWS. There are very powerful services like Cognito, mobile analytics, and SNS push, which is for push notifications. These are provided by AWS. So you can basically go to the AWS console, configure these, and use the corresponding libraries on the client side, and use the APIs to be able to access these services. Okay, so the next thing is the connector for the AWS services. So some of the key services for which the SDK provides connectors to is S3, DynamoDB, and Kinesis. So for the S3, it makes it really easy for the mobile application to upload or download the files from Amazon S3. For the DynamoDB, it enables you to map your client-side classes to Amazon DynamoDB tables without having to write the code to transform the objects into tables and vice versa. So that saves a lot of time because that's basically providing you some high-level stuff of object relational mapping, and you don't have to really go into the nitty-gritties of accessing it from the mobile application. Last but not least is access to the other AWS services like general EC2, autoscaling, SimpleDB, CloudWatch, to name a few. So if you think about it, it lets a user or a developer to develop AWS admin specific applications where it can call the services from the mobile, and lets AWS admin to do different kind of things using the mobile applications. Alright, so that's about in general what this AWS Android SDK is about. Now let's go a little deep dive into one particular aspect of AWS SDK just to get a sense of how exactly it helps a developer in different ways. So what I have done here is I've created a small application called EasyToDos. It's an Android application. It uses Facebook authentication to authenticate the users, and basically the application lets the users to add, remove, or edit multiple to-dos and to-do lists to the application, and user gets one significant capability, which is to be able to sync all those to-dos to the multiple devices the same user uses. A common application of this could be that, let's say I'm at home, I'm working on my tablet and I'm writing some of the to-dos, but later on I'm in the market, and I want to access those to-dos. So if I sync those to-dos from my tablet, I'll be able to access them on my mobile phone. So it's a powerful application, but we'll see how easy and how quick it became, to develop the application using the SDK provided by Amazon, AWS, and the mobile services provided by them, on the AWS side. So the technologies, as far as the technology is concerned, that are used in this application are, of course, we're doing the Facebook login, so we'll have to use the Facebook login SDK to save the tokens after logging into the Facebook. We're using the Cognito Cognito identity, to be able to save the token, which is the login token, and then to be able to save the to-do items or the to-do list and keep them in sync for all the devices for the same user. We're going to use a service called Cognito Sync, which is available excuse me, in the Cognito identity pool. All right, so let's look into the little bit of setup that's required for this application. I've used a sample application that's been provided by the AWS and Android SDK. It's called Cognito Sync Demo. So I've done some modifications around that to create my own EasyToDos application to demonstrate to you guys how we can leverage from the AWS Android SDK. Okay, so as you can see, I'm only using the Cognito Sync and Cognito Identity, these two mobile services provided by Amazon. So you need to add the jar file. This jar file is something I got from the AWS Android SDK. So you only need to add the jar files which you are using corresponding to the services that you are using. You don't have to add everything there. So that's why I've added this particular lib here. This is the folder structure or the package structure for my application. That's the package name. And as you can see, I have multiple activities, and there is a Cognito Sync Client Manager. So in the Cognito Sync Client Manager, basically, this is where I have all the details about which identity pool it needs to connect to, and what kind of authorization it's going to use, so on and so forth. And it basically creates a Cognito Sync Manager and the Cognito Caching Credentials Provider. Basically, the provider is used to save the credential, the token, and this client is used to save the data that we have on the device. So as you can see, from these imports and pretty much all the files, you'll be able to see that we're using all these APIs in our application. So the main activity is the first page that shows the login screen. So you log in using this application, this particular activity, and then it takes you to the next subsequent pages. Here again, we're using this bunch of classes here. The to-do sets correspond to the data set that's available in the Cognito. So we create one data set for each to-do set here, and then there are to-do items, which basically we are using something called record, and in Cognito each data set can have multiple records, similar to how we want it, because we wanted each to-do set to have multiple to-do items. So that's the thing we are using, to create the to-dos, or to give those capabilities to the user. All right, so that's the structure of my application. Now all these credentials and everything, how we got this is by creating a identity pool here. So I logged into console, and I created this identity pool already. And when you create the identity pool, it actually shows you the whole code that you need to use in your application. And basically I just leverage from that. It's showing you 3 identities because I had 3 users. I used my application with 3 different users just to play around with it. So it's showing a little bit of statistics about how this Cognito service has been used. Since we are using Facebook login, so we'll have to create a Facebook app by going to developers.facebook.com. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but just wanted to show you guys that we have used this as well. And this app ID is something we actually have used while creating this Cognito identity pool, to let each other know that how so that this Cognito service can further talk to Facebook, and directly talk to this particular application. So that's pretty much the whole setup that's required for this application. That we have our application, we have the Facebook app, and we had to create this identity pool. No backend server again, and that's the thing I'm trying to emphasize on. That's the major benefit that we are getting. That we just have to create these, use the APIs, and create this powerful application. All right. Now let's walk you quickly, guys, through the workflow of this application. I've taken some snapshots by using the application. Let's go through them one by one. All right. So the first screen that you see on the left is the login screen. Basically, this is where you log into the application. Once logged in, it says hello, the username. And basically it comes up with a message that no to-do lists exists as of now. So there are 2 buttons in the bottom, sync and add new to-do list. So you can click on those to either sync to the server. Let's say if the user is created from some other device, some to-do item will show up here then, or to create a new to-do item. So let's create the new to-do items here. As you can see, I have created 2 to-do items: Black Friday shopping and groceries over here. All right. So once I click on one of the to-do sets, I apologize. We have created to-do sets, and then each to-do set can have multiple to-do items. So now we're going to add multiple to-do items to one of the to-do sets. I believe here I've selected Black Friday, and I wanted to do some shopping on Black Friday. So I'm just adding some to-do items here, just as a reminder for myself to remember that these are the things I need to buy. So I added in this screen, as you can see, 3 items here that I need to buy: desktop, phone, and TV. On the left, as you can see, it shows up in blue, which essentially means that basically this item is just available locally. These are not yet synced to the server. That's why on the right screen, when I click on the sync button, it says successfully synced, and now those are synced to the server. And I'm changing the color from blue to black here. Excuse me. Similarly, for deleting an item, it will show up as crossed blue, but once synced to the server, it will show up as crossed black. You can use the delete button to completely delete a to-do list. Basically, once you are inside the to-do list, you can click on this button to completely wipe off all the to-do lists here. The last but not the least is wipe data and logout. So once you come back to the main activity, instead of Facebook login button, since you're already logged in, it shows you the wipe data button. Here, basically, if you click this button, it gives you a message that this will log you off from the current session and wipe all the to-dos. It's basically bring you back to square zero, where again it shows you the Facebook login button, and you can do the login, maybe even using a different user and or with the same user, and depending on that, it will show you the to-do items. All right, so so the basic technologies that are being used here, again, Cognito identity, Cognito sync, Cognito identity to save the Facebook token after the login, and the Cognito sync, it has something called datasets and records. So datasets are used to save the to-do lists, and the records are basically used to save the to-do items. Those classes are defined in such a way that each data set can have multiple records, and that's exactly what we wanted, each to-do list to have multiple to-do items, and that fits great in what our requirement was as far as this application is concerned. All right, so that's how we saw that, how we created a powerful application which which really helps out an end user, how easy and quick it was to create that application thanks to AWS Android SDK and the mobile services. Basically, we just had to create an identity pool, create a Facebook login app, and then use the necessary APIs on the client side to be able to utilize that. No backend server required again. Okay, so that's about the whole application. Here I'm just talking a little bit more in detail about the specific APIs that are being used. Now, to summarize, let's go to the benefits that we saw. As you saw, it makes the developer's life very, very easy. It lets you authenticate, sync user data across devices. There's another thing called mobile analytics. Here basically it provides you the app usage data in the app, and based on that information, you can make some intelligent decisions in your application. The other benefit really is that it provides you a forum, a community of similar-minded people who are pretty much using the same APIs, or maybe even doing the similar kind of works. So this forum lets you interact with these great people and seek help, or sometimes help them in terms of using these APIs, or in terms of developing mobile applications. It greatly reduces the time to market for a mobile developer. It lets you focus on the real needs of your application instead of the nitty-gritties. All right, so a little bit of challenge I would say for this is that there are very few samples available for this, and the second is as a developer you'll have to stay dependent on these SDKs. If something gets deprecated, you'll have to change your application accordingly. But I would say these changes are not much as compared to the benefit that you get out of it. All right, that's all I had about AWS Android SDK. Thanks a lot for listening in. Hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.